Welcome to Marshland Histories, the oral history podcast series celebrating life in the Lower Waveney Valley, the people, the places, and the marshes. Ivan Levett has been walking and working on the marshes for 50 years. He moved here from Portsmouth in 1975 and became a ranger for Waveney District Council, managing the local parks and green spaces. But, as Ivan said, he soon got fed up with that. At the end of the 1980s, he became the warden for Carlton and Oulton Marshes on a voluntary basis and went to Otley College to study horticulture and countryside conservation. So that's half a century devoted to helping to manage and regenerate the local marshland.
That's a long time to know a place, what's gone in that time.
The plant life on butchers was the best in Suffolk at one point. When we did a survey on it, and that had more species than anywhere else in Suffolk.
So when were you warden?
In year before, 99.
And how long were you warden for?
10 years, I suppose.
What did it involve then, and how has it changed?
Well, doing all the work. When the cattle were on butchers, we had to go down there every night to make sure they were still there. and none falling in the toilets on it. That's the work parties we used to have on.
What do work parties do?
Well, we're clearing away the vegetation so that the plants that we want can grow. Butcher's Marsh were mown it every year to let the special plants thrive. So that's what we did. And then, obviously, didn't want to get paid.
No.
All volunteers. And they did wonders. My role here is just wandering around talking to people.
Yeah.
And looking for, something that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
Like dogs on or fleas.
What is the highlight of the year on the marsh?
When you get the marsh harriers doing what they're doing now, we've got a pair that got youngsters talking to people. Wander around and they say, what can we see? I said, well, no, it's not a question of seeing. It's a question of looking and hearing. You'll hear the birds first, and then you start looking for them. Just certainly with the marsh harriers, with the green miles up, and they still call them.
What does a marsh harrier call sound like?
It sounds like someone's squeezing somebody's neck. You wouldn't believe it, but it's very fucking pitch.
Ivan told me he's been bird watching since he was 6 years old, and walking round the marshes with him, I noticed he kept scribbling down notes in his little black notebook. Turns out he was writing down all the birds he spotted using the BTO 2-letter code. It's shorthand for birdwatchers, so he knows what he's seen and when and can write it down really quickly. So I asked Ivan what I should be looking for in the skies during the spring and summer months ahead.
It's beginning of April, so what should I look for, listen out for at the moment?
The garden birds are all singing. We've got birds from the continent that have come back to England through chit-chats, which they say their name.
They're the ones I think they sound like squeaky wheelbarrows, don't they? Do they? I know they're a chit-chat, but they're squeaky. Yeah, they remind me of the squeaky wheelbarrow.
Well, listen to it and put it in words. Won't forget it. The yellow hammer. It's a little bit of bread and no cheese. That's what it comes out as. That's what it sounds like.
There is a little bit of bread, no cheese.
That's for the yellow hammer. But all the birds have got this. They've got obviously their own songs, but the wait tit that says teacher, 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 teacher.
I've done it 2 or 3 birds, this is good. Yeah, what's it, a little bit of butter, no bread?
No, there will be a bread and no cheese.
That's a different bird altogether.
After our conversation, we went for a walk around the marshes. Took my dog Bonnie along, on the lead of course. Ivan is the man that everyone knows on the marshes, and as we walked around, he kept listening and looking and writing in his notebook. When I came home, I wrote down what I'd seen and heard in my own notebook and turned it into this poem. Birdman of the Marshes. It's how he does it. You hear the birds first, then you begin to look. Wood pigeon and dunnet, widgeon and rook. As I stop to listen, he starts to laugh. Did you see that otter? Just crossed our path. Barn owl and pintail, blue-headed wagtail. When birdwatchers spot him, they step up and say, "Anything this week? Seen much today?" Wren and reed bunting, magpie and lapwing. And out comes his notebook. Now that you ask, Tuesday with skylarks over White Cast Marsh.